Good morning. Oh, I'm tired this morning. Just feeling. Still taking melatonin at night. I've actually cut down on a lot of the vitamins and stuff I had been on. So the 8 pills of myoisotal, I've now stopped. So 1, I run out, and 2, it was always supposed to be taken the month before it starts. And so now that I've actually started the medication, I'm supposed to stop that. I've also stopped taking the extra vitamin C with vitamin A in it, because I've got other stuff that has that in it. But I'm not taking the extra vitamin A because now that we've started IVF, it's my understanding is you're not really supposed to take vitamin A like that. So going into my box, getting in the thing. So I've cut down quite a few of those medications. So right there, just those 2 medications alone has cut down 9 pills that I was taking, and I was taking at least 13. So, trying to think what else. Yeah, so I'm not doing that. Yeah, so really at the moment I'm just taking my prenatal supplement, and I'm taking my extra magnesium and zinc one to hopefully help me like absorb, my body actually absorb and process the vitamins that I was taking. Yeah, so that's better. But I'm still taking the melatonin at night, and so that doesn't feel like I'm pressing it in very far. It says I took it all. I think I'm just used to a bit of a bigger dose than that, and so when I'm pressing the needle, it just feels like not a whole lot is going in, which I guess is technically accurate. Yeah, so that melatonin is still wiping me out a little bit. It just makes me feel groggy when I wake up. Once I'm actually up, it's not really a problem, it's the waking up. So now that I'm up and about, I don't feel too bad, but it does take just a couple minutes while I'm actually waking up. So I've got school today. This is one of the classes that has been put online, so I'm doing full time, so 4 units for my double major. And so today have one of my psychology units. This is my statistics class that honestly, this is part of the reason I put off uni so long. The idea of doing math at uni terrified me. So I'm not having to do a whole lot of math in this one. It's more about understanding a program of how to create and understand data set points, statistics, the idea of interpreting research information and that kind of stuff. So because it's more practical, it's still hard for me, but it's a lot easier than just remembering and trying to work out formulas. So the more practical side of it has been good. But this class has been put online because of COVID. So what is happening? So instead of doing a 2-hour lecture and then an hour workshop, which is all in the same lecture hall, that's all online now. So and what happens is we're doing that online, but our past classes or peer assisted study sessions I think that's what it stands for. That is in person, and they asked, did we want to keep that in person or online? That's not compulsory. That is an extra tool for some, not all classes, especially first year units. This is a second year unit. But I am like, I'm not here to muck around. I don't want to have to retake units. And so I am taking all the help I can get. So I definitely go to these past classes because I find they repeat the previous week's, not lecture, but they go over that material in a different way, and we as students kind of help one another. So it's learning the same material from the week before in a different way. And so I find that more helpful, especially when I can like ask questions and interact with other students. And the more I talk about something and regurgitate it, the more I understand it. And so I do that in person. So that's before my 10:30 class. So that's at 9:30 in the morning. And then I have booked a room at the library for the 2-hour lecture. And so last week I had one of my other friends come and join me for that. And today I'll probably have 2 people joining me for that. So that way we can like watch, because it's a live lecture just streaming through Microsoft Teams. So I put it up on the screen in one of the rooms that I booked at the library. And we watched it together and then took notes, and we're like, huh, I didn't get that, or oh, I think that's what they mean, and etc., etc. So this way I'm trying to get the best out of what I consider the worst case scenario, which is going online, because I just don't learn that way. So I'm still getting the interaction with people, trying to understand it different way, able to ask questions, and yeah. So that is the plan. Going into school, doing my past class, then the online live class with other students, and then they'll have a workshop today, so we might have to move into a more public space for that, unfortunately, because you can only book a room for 2 hours at a time, and of course it's a 2-hour lecture plus an hour workshop. So yeah, so it'll be interesting to see, because obviously I have not had to do study. I mean, I've had to work doing IVF before, but I've never had to like study. So that's going to be a little bit interesting to see how I feel with that. I've been feeling okay on the medication. It'll be interesting to see tomorrow morning. I have my second blood test and first ultrasound for this round. To see how I feel after that, and kind of see on the lower dose how I'm stimulating. Yeah. And then of course my favorite, when I start the oragulitran or galutran. I'm gonna get it. 7 rounds. I'll eventually get how to say it. Anyway, or galutran, because that stuff makes me feel awful. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah. So until tomorrow, I'm going to make a cup of tea, brush my teeth, and do my face and get ready to head to school.
Good morning. I'm up, I am dressed, I'm taking my injection early today. Not too much, about 20 minutes early, but I have got my follow-up blood test and first ultrasound for this round. I'm not sure if nervous is the right word, but I am kind of interested to see how I've actually been progressing this round, because obviously I'm on quite a bit lower dose, the lowest I've ever been on. So hopefully it is low enough that I don't overstimulate, but high enough that I actually do stimulate. Because unfortunately with bulk billing, if I do not stimulate enough at all, they will cancel the round. Yeah, so it's kind of like a bit of a delicate balance. The other thing with this dose of 125 is that it may actually have the same result and still overstimulate me, even though it's quite a bit less than what it was. And that's just depends on how my body reacts. And again, it's kind of hard to tell because the indicator test that they did to show egg reserve to make sure that I wasn't too high came back all within normal range, and I was not what they would consider a high risk for overstimulation. But obviously with my follicle count, it still happened. So yes, today will be very interesting to see how I actually stimulated. So yeah, we've got that done. Got put that back on there for a second. Take my tea. I'm pretty much ready to go. I packed everything for school last night, including a lunchbox, because I've got like a crazy long day today. Yeah, feeling good in general. The injections and everything haven't been too bad. I'm only down to a couple of pills a day now, which is kind of a relief after all the other drugs I've been on. So it's kind of nice to not have that over the top anymore. And my needle just fell on the floor. Or cap anyway. All right, tuck, because my clothes are still a bit big and I haven't bought new clothes, or a lot of new clothes, because I'm hoping to get fat and pregnant. Anyway, all right guys, I'll check in with you after my appointment. Love you guys. Okay, so things were running a bit late, so I'm going to jump in the car, try and fill it in while heading off to school. Now I've just got to find out how to get to my car through all the mess of the garden. Oh, my side is probably about numb because I've left the ice pack probably a little bit longer than I should have. Okay, so I did record after my ultrasound and bloods yesterday, but the sound didn't record for some reason. Anyway, so I ended up getting, so on my right side, which is always the side I've had the most issues with, and stuff like my endometriosis is always on that side. I'm feeling very bloated again, but I guess that's kind of to be expected, right? But yeah, so on that side, I only had one follicle that was measuring at the 10mm mark, but I had 4 or 5 kind of around the 8. And considering it's only, you know, a couple of days in, that I think that's fine. Some of them might catch up a little bit. On my left side though, I had 7 that were measuring 10 and 11, and I had 2 that were possibly under that. So the left side always seems to do more, and then my right side. Anyway, so that was those results. I got the call yesterday afternoon saying to continue with the gonal F at the same level. So I'm guessing that's like, okay, well, it's working enough to how he's happy with it and not trying to bump me up or lower me. So that seems to be okay. And then, yeah, but they want to do another blood test today. Now, I have been told by the phlebotomist before that he does like to monitor very closely, like every day kind of thing. So that didn't surprise me that he wanted to do that. I guess I just wanted to make sure that like he's happy with how things are going. But as I said, he probably would have changed dosages if that was the case. All right, so it is just after 7. Trying to print my lecture material have to go in the clinic. I got to leave now to try and get there for bloods in time. Yesterday was kind of nuts. I got there at 7:20. The clinic doesn't open till 7:30. But because of COVID, they're obviously doing some sort of staggering, letting people in or something like that, because the waiting room was already full. So then I had to wait another 40 minutes before I was even seen for bloods, and then sent out, and then sent kind of straight back in to do ultrasound after that. So my class started at 8:30. I didn't arrive till like 8:45. So I was a little bit late. The intro didn't miss too much. Luckily, I've got good friends who saved me a seat. My class today isn't till later, like 11:30, but I've got reading to do. So that's why I was printing off my material, pack my bag. I haven't organized my lunch because yesterday was just a crazy long, wonderful, but really long day. So yeah, today might be lunch at school kind of day. We'll see how it goes. All right, guys. I think that's all I'm going to do for this vlog. Things are tracking well. Obviously, if anything else from the blood tests pop up this afternoon, I'll chuck it in the next video. But guys, it's all happening. I'm feeling good. Yesterday was a bit of a stressful day in general, but I made sure I still went to worship practice, and that just gives me, it fills me up. Even if things like practice isn't exactly how I would do it or whatever, like doing worship with a group of other people who care about worship, it is just so life-giving to me. And even though it's a busy season for me right now, part of self-care is you got to find things that give you life, that fill you up. So continuing to find those little things in the amongst of things like having to do 2 major assignments that are coming up, and yeah, fun times. So anyway, guys, if you're going through infertility, I love you. I am one of you. I'm praying for you. Please, if you have any questions about this round or any other rounds of IVF or other infertility issues that I've had,